Hello.
How are you?
Well, thank you. Yes, I've just been to the biodiversity, launch of the biodiversity report.
Oh yeah?
Bristol
Oh.
Zoo, Southwest.
Is that the one where she's telling us that farming is wiping out our wildlife?
Yes. 3 years. Yes, 3 years in May.
My name is Wendy, and I'm working here at Schumacher College. And this occasion this afternoon is to celebrate the font that has been given to us by Miss Mossop. And Sheila Cassidy is going to inaugurate the Peace Garden. We have many friends and trustees here. These roses have been plucked this morning from our garden and from the Dartington garden. And they are going to be distributed amongst our guests and then placed in the font with some candles.
Welcome to the to Schumacher and to the dedication of this font. The lady who gave it to us is a lady called Miss Mossop, who's unable to be with us, but she did send me some words which I'll read to you, partly about the font and partly about why she decided to put the font here. So the font was designed by the architect John Hayward in 1842 and sculpted by the best craftsman of the period, Simon Rowe. It was produced during the High Church revival for Exeter Cathedral, where it remained much admired and praised until the 18th church faction resulted in its being replaced by the present one. I'm not sure whether that's true, according to Joy, but anyway. Damaged and vandalised, the font disappeared from the cathedral precincts, and we're at present uncertain of what happened to it during the many years that elapsed before it was discovered half buried in a little garden on the former Buckroll estate in 1984. Who moved the font and when? Was it involved in the Exeter Blitz in World War II? Much research remains to be done. However, one thing is clear. The font, which in itself bears the evidence of neglect, ill treatment and of strife between peoples of different persuasions, seems to be a symbol of survival. The survival of spiritual values and of the creative gifts of mankind, judging by the interest and respect shown for it by those who've seen it in recent years, even before its cleaning and restoration. In the search for a final resting place for the font, a location was sought where the message of peace and hope which it seems to embody could reach as many people as possible without the danger of possible vandalism. Some locations were found to be unsuitable because inaccessible to visitors, or in 2 cases where private interest was the motivating factor in the desire of individuals to acquire the font. Only here at Schumacher College was the right place found for it. Quaker friends Marjorie Ball and Sylvia Button, who knew Dartington, suggested this location, and the college graciously accepted it last year. As history shows, the final resting place for the font is peculiarly appropriate from what we know of the High Church revival of the Anglican Church in the 19th century. Apparently, one of the occupants of the postern was instrumental in starting the Oxford movement, and I think that's the reference that she's making here. Moreover, in another sense, the font is ideally situated here, not merely because it represents survival, but because it seems in harmony with the aims and ideals of Schumacher College. Bringing, despite our materialistic society, a new set of values and the hope of spiritual and physical renewal to our despoiled planet. I'm not crying, it's the light. A symbol of creativity and birth, this font is given for the benefit of all who live or visit here, of any race or creed, that it may help all, especially those grieving, anxious, perplexed or disorientated, to find here in this garden peace, reconciliation and renewal?
Thank you. I would like to accept this gift on behalf of the Schumacher College, on behalf of the staff and many participants who have come in the last 6 years, and particularly in the last year when they have seen it, and also on behalf of the many participants who are going to come in the future. So I live in great confidence and hope. And also on behalf of all the elements here, on behalf of the herbs and plants and trees. And in this font and this water you see there is a fire and water together. And the air is there and earth is there. So all the elements uniting together, that is a great gift. Schumacher College lives on the gift economy. And many, many things here you see are gifts. The sculpture in the main lobby is a gift which was given to Schumacher College in the very first year. Lots of pictures you see on the wall are gifts from many visitors who have come to participate in the college courses. And of course, the people who come to teach here, they bring tremendous gifts to the college and to the people here. So I would say ultimately Schumacher College itself is a gift. It's a gift from the trustees of Dartington, it's a gift from the founders of Dartington, as a gift from the community so that this college can be here. So this font symbolizes that very deep and profound philosophy of gift. And so for me it is a moment of thanksgiving, not only to the donor of this font, which is a symbol of our gift today, but also many, many gifts which we have been receiving and which have been given in the last 6 years and before. I would like to thank to the lady today and also to all the people who have made Schumacher College what it is. So thank you, and we accept it with great gratitude and delight.
And I think the first thing that strikes me is, like Joy, about the Christian symbolism of the font. And on Holy Saturday night there's a tremendous service which is one of those magical services usually carried out in the dark and with candles, and it begins with the blessing of the new fire. And then it goes on to the blessing of the font, and a candle is plunged into the water. Now, when I wrote one of my books a few years ago, I dug out the very old liturgy, and I found it was actually an incredibly powerful and very sensual, sexual liturgy. And the old symbolism is that the plunging of the lighted candle, which represents the light of Christ, is plunged into the font as a sort of almost like a phallic symbol. It is the fertilization of the water. And so I like to think of the Spirit breathing over the water, of the power of the divine, in a sense giving this water life. And so that's one thought. The other thing, I was going to read to you a little piece from the prophet Isaiah, who's a great favorite of mine. And it's like quite a lot of the readings of the prophets. It's very angry with the people who make a great sort of pretense and hypocrisy and pomposity about religious things. And I think that's always the great temptation of religious people, that they get carried away with tassels and phylacteries and liturgy and plain song and, you know, lovely choirs. And Isaiah's actually talking about a fast, but it's the same. He meets the same sort of thing for services. And he says, "Is this the sort of fast that pleases me, a truly penitential day for men, hanging your head like a reed, wearing your best clothes on Sundays, lying down on sackcloth and ashes? Is that what you call fasting, a day acceptable to the Lord? Is not this the sort of fast that pleases me, to break unjust fetters, to undo the thongs of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free and break every yoke, to share your bread with the hungry and shelter the homeless poor, to clothe the man you see to be naked and not turn from your own kin. Then will your light shine like the dawn and your wound be quickly healed over. Your light will rise in the darkness and your shadows become like noon. The Lord will always guide you, giving you relief in desert places. He will give strength to your bones, and you shall be like a watered garden, like a spring of water, whose waters never run dry. And you will rebuild the ancient ruins, build up on the old foundations. You will be called breach mender, peacemaker, the restorer of ruined houses. So I think we have here a font that was made for a church, and the church people, as so often happens, fell out and squabbled, and it was taken away. And I think this is a very fitting place to be, because there's a sense in which the rediscovered love of the earth, the rediscovered love of justice for people, has become a sense, a non-sectarian religion. I'm trying to find a word away from religion. If you like, a non-sectarian spirituality. It's the truest of spiritual values. So, like Joy, sorry, I hope that the people will come here and they will gaze into the still water and find peace for their souls, but also that by what they will learn here and the people they will meet, they will become like a watered garden, that their desert hearts and spirits will be watered and will blossom with flowers. And I wanted just to finish with a very short story. I'm part of a group that has become very concerned about the care of bereaved children in our area. And we've started a little charity called Jeremiah's Journey, which is named after one of my innumerable teddy bears, whose name is Jeremiah. And we had our last meeting of our last particular group on Thursday night. And I wanted to do something spiritual but not religious. And I thought floating candles, that's the thing. And so I had a big bowl on the floor. And we were all to sort of sit around and have our supper and gaze at the candles. Now, what really happened was that the kids only ate the Mars bars and that they spent the entire evening sinking the candles and then trying to relight them. And so all my deeply spiritual thoughts about the symbolism of floating candles was completely knocked for six. But it actually occupied half a dozen bereaved little ones with the most wonderful game for at least an hour while we ate our spaghetti and drank our red wine. So I think one has to learn to relax and let things happen, and perhaps not get too carried away with things being beautiful, but having things that give meaning to the different people in our lives. So perhaps as a communal act of dedication, I'd like those who have the flowers, the symbol of beauty and of evanescence, to bring their flowers and place them upon the waters.
I should take these and so you can have your bowl.
I have to rush off to train.
To conclude this ceremony, I would like to offer a prayer. This prayer is for peace. But this prayer starts with a very primordial sound of Om. I always feel very inspired, and I feel there is a presence of Rabindranath Tagore here. He came and stayed in this building, in the college building, and he is one of the spiritual founder and inspirer of Dartington. So I'll start with that. And there are 3 times in Sanskrit we say Shanti, which means peace. So first peace is within your own being, a sort of spiritual peace. Then the second peace, you make peace with the world, everyone in the world. And the third peace is peace with nature. And I was very pleased that Tony Blair, at last, and it's about time, talking about at the UN, making taking greater steps to make peace with the earth and with the cosmos and with the planet. So this is a prayer for peace in all around way. Om Shanti. Lead me from death to life, from falsehood to truth. Lead me from despair to hope, from fear to trust. Lead me from hate to love, from war to peace. Let peace fill our hearts, our world, our universe. Peace, peace, peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And in the words of St. Francis, may we all become the instruments of this universal peace. Thank you.